A couple updates since my last What Sold video. First of all, my eyeball is basically 100% healed, so woohoo! And secondly, Poshmark made a little bit of a comeback, but I was super shocked, if you can believe it, to see all of the comments that came in for last week's What Sold video, because the video was basically about how Poshmark basically died on me. And this was, back in December, but a lot of you were saying that even now, towards the end of January, that Poshmark was still dead. And furthermore, that Poshmark was not sending people their payouts. Well, I freaked way out when I saw that, and immediately I dropped everything, went on my Poshmark app, and asked to get all of the money that I could redeem into my bank account. I will keep you updated as to whether or not that $500+ was in fact sent to my bank account. It seemed like I had no problem, pressing the button and asking for the money. Now, I'm curious as to whether that money is gonna make its way into my bank account, because y'all had me freaking out. But let me know in the comments below if that is something that you're struggling with. It seems like that is something of high concern within the reselling community, so I'm curious, is that happening to you? But this was the week that Poshmark honestly made a bit of a comeback for me. If you remember in last week's What Sold video, I sold one thing on Poshmark, made a net profit of $3.13, got my son some fries, you know how we do here, but this was a much better week. Thank the good Lord. Hi everyone, my name is Becky Park. I am a part-time reseller on a variety of reselling platforms, including Poshmark and eBay, and where else did we sell on? We sold on actually a good number of platforms this week, Mercari, Depop, Kidizen. So we're gonna talk about all the sales that I had in the last week of December, and then finally I'm gonna be caught up to the year 2024. But let's just go ahead and jump right into it by talking about what sold for me on Christmas Day, which was Monday, December 25th. I had one sale. It seems sacrilegious to be drinking out of this eBay Stanley dupe when I'm talking about Mercari. But if it sounds like I'm a little sick, it's because I'm a little sick. Your girl is very congested and yucky inside, and that's because it's like my 90th time with COVID. All right, but I had one sale on Mercari, and it was this Nike Windrunner running hooded black gray windbreaker jacket in a men's size large. This sold for $22 on Mercari. It was something that I got for free from a beautiful soul named Becky. Not myself, Becky. Different Becky. She's a viewer, and she will just randomly send me boxes of inventory. A lot of times it's stuff that she no longer wears, or it's actual inventory that she had purchased for her reselling business that she just doesn't need anymore. And it's good stuff. She's not sending me Walmart. She's not sending me Kohl's. She's sending me the good stuff. This was a really cool piece. It sold literally within a week of being listed, again for $22, and my net profit on that, since I had no cost of goods into it, was $18.49. Becky, thank you so much, because this is really as much your sale as it is my sale. And then on Tuesday, which was December 26th, this is when Poshmark was like, let's go. We're back in the game. So the first thing to sell was the Starbucks 2016 black and gold sparkle matte double wall 12-ounce travel mug with a sliding lid. This is just something that we had in our house. I don't know, I feel like as teachers, both my husband and I are teachers, we get a lot of the same kinds of gifts every holiday season. We get a lot of coffee things, whether it's mugs, tumblers. We get a lot of chocolate, so much chocolate.
There's chocolate, and there's chocolate.
We don't even really eat chocolate, but we get a lot of chocolate. We get a lot of teacher specific ornaments. I don't know, we get a lot of random stuff, and I believe this is something that we got as a gift many years ago from a student. I don't even remember if it was my husband or myself. Probably my husband, because elementary school teachers get a lot more presents than high school teachers, but we just never used it. It just kind of hung out in our house. I believe the sticker was even still attached to it, and as we were moving from our old house to our new house, he was like, what do we do with this? We clearly don't use it. Do you want to sell it? Do we donate it? And I was like, I'll try to sell it, because I know some Starbucks tumblers like these can do well. This sold for $16, and I made a net profit of $12.80. And that is my #1 tip for people who want to get into reselling. Look around your house first. I guarantee you, you have at least a box's worth of things that you're no longer using that other people in the world would actually spend money on over the internet. All you got to do is get that stuff listed. And I think that that's the best way to get into reselling, because then you're not investing any of your own money into your reselling business. You're just taking product that is already in your home and flipping that for money. And now you can take that money and put it towards new inventory for your reselling business. So I practice what I preach. I still list things from around my house, and I I made a net profit of $12.80 on that unused Starbucks tumbler. The next thing to sell was a wonderful bundle. It had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items in it. I think there were 6 originally, but I took one out because it had sold somewhere else. But the first thing to sell in this bundle was this Joanna Borowski West 22 white crochet lace dress. It was in a size large, it had flare sleeves, and you know, this is honestly typically a brand that I don't pick up anymore just because I feel like it sits forever for me. They do sell this brand sometimes at Anthropologie, but every time I pick it up, it just takes like at least a year to move. Now, I did not actually go out and source this myself. It was something that I got in a reseller inventory, not a buyout, like I just bought a half pallet of inventory off of her, and this was in there. And I mean, it's like a good dress, it's a good brand, it retails for a lot. So I did go ahead and list it, but you know, again, it took about a year to sell, and I had $3.92 into that. The next item to sell was this Gap Fit black camel print hooded winter jacket in a size extra large tall. It was water resistant, and this is something that I had $3 into from a reseller buyout. I did this reseller buyout last summer, and I actually did try to sell it in a Whatnot show. I was doing an unboxing of this particular reseller buyout. It didn't sell on that Whatnot show, and I think I started it at like $3, but I had no doubt in my mind that it would sell on a platform like Poshmark or eBay because it's one of those necessity type things. Even though Old Navy is not a glamorous brand, everyone needs winter jackets. Everyone needs, you know, things that are wind resistant, and this was in an extra large tall. I feel like specialty sizes, and especially if they're in bigger sizes, those tend to sell really well and pretty quickly, and that was definitely the case. Now, I know Gap is not a super glamorous brand, but this was in a specialty size. It was in a size extra large tall. I knew that it was going to sell for decent money, and it absolutely did. The next thing to sell in this bundle was this new without tags Talbot's navy military hook and eye blazer jacket in a women's size 10. That was fully lined. That was something that I got actually in April of 2023, where my son used to go to school. There was a resale shop kind of run by a hospital, and they never really had very good things. They always priced things way too high, but sometimes if I just had a little bit of time to kill before picking up my son, I would stop in there and see if they had anything. And I think they were running some sort of sale, so I was able to get this for $4.50. Typically, they were pricing Talbot's pieces at like $10, $15 a piece for everything, but at $4.50, I was like, I think I can make some money on this. And then the next thing to sell was this Chico's tan faux fur trim removable collar cardigan in a Chico size 2, which is like a US size 12. That I had $7 into from a local consignment store during just like a tag sale that they were doing. Again, I got that in April of 2023, so I had been sitting on it for some time, but it makes sense that it wouldn't sell in April when everyone's shopping for summery type pieces, and that it instead sold in December. And then finally, one more Talbot's piece sold. It was this vintage orange wool blend double-breasted pea coat in a size 14. Again, that was lined as well, and that was something that I got at a local consignment store during a birthday sale for $3.47. At that birthday sale, you're just grabbing items and throwing them in like a little plastic bag, like what you'd get at like the grocery store. And even though this took up a lot of space in a plastic bag, I was like, my cost of goods is going to be pretty low, and given that this is like a wool jacket, I'm going to make some good money on it. So my average cost of goods for that particular birthday sale trip was $3.47. So that whole bundle sold for $130. I did offer discounted shipping, and I had $21.40 into those 5 items. And so my net profit after fees and my discounted shipping that I offered was $79.62. And it just felt really good to move out a lot of bigger, bulkier pieces, and to especially move out things that, you know, I had had for a little over a year and a half. The next thing to sell on Poshmark, this was a very Poshmark heavy day because the truth is the rest of the week I didn't really sell that much. And I feel like I sold a lot on the day after Christmas because people had Christmas money to burn and they just got really excited and they were just buying stuff. These are the narratives that I make up in my head to make life make sense. But the next sale that we'll talk about was this Madewell pair of Leia gold metallic leather ballet flats in a 7.5. I did put the word holiday in the listing title, which maybe helped, but like this was the day after Christmas, so who even knows. These sold for $25. I got these from a reseller who lives a few hours away from me, but her mother lives in town, and every time she comes into town to see her mother, she will bring some inventory for me because she's trying to sell through anything that's not vintage, and I get to reap the rewards of her trying to focus on being more of a vintage seller. So she'll bring me a ton of stuff. She'll offer me basically wholesale prices, just what she paid for those items. items. I had $477 into those pair of shoes. My net profit was $15.23. Some Madewell shoes can do really well, especially their boots and stuff. Flats, I mean, even though they do retail for a pretty penny, generally don't do as well resale, but I thought I would just give them a shot, and I was pretty happy with the flip, especially considering that they flipped really fast. The next thing to sell was over on Depop, and to be honest, this is kind of a sad sale in that I don't really know what's going to happen with it yet, and it was 100% my fault. It was this pair of Bear Traps black suede knee-high winter boots. They had a faux fur lining and trim. They were in a size 7, and I got them at that same consignment store that does a birthday sale, but this was a different sale. I had $5.80 into those. To be honest with you, like, Bear Traps in general, I'm just like not crazy about the brand. Not because I have anything against the brand, but because I feel like I just have traumatic experiences with the brand. Either I've had it in the past and it doesn't move for like 3 years, or it's stuff like this, which I'm gonna get into here in a second. So when these did sell pretty quickly on Depop after I listed them for $50, I was like, okay, let's go. Like, Bear Traps is back in the game. I don't have to be scared of this brand anymore. And then what happened was the person who bought them reached out and she was like, hey, what's going on with these? Because I'm following the tracking of this sale and it's saying that they're being shipped back to you because there was inadequate information on the address, on the shipping label. And I was like, huh? So basically what happened was she lived in an apartment building. The way I do Depop is I will pay for shipping. I don't know, like Depop and Kidizen, that's just what I do. I heard stories. I heard the lore that that's how you sell on Depop. And then a lot of you were like, no, I charge shipping on Depop, but that's just kind of how I've done it. I just build the price of shipping into how much I charge for the item. And so when an item sells on Depop, what I will do is I will create a shipping label on Pirate Ship. And I will just copy the address information from Depop over to Pirate Ship. Never had an issue until I did, because I think I was just moving too fast. I did not get the apartment number, or like it was like an apartment letter. I didn't get that on the Pirate Ship label, and so when I printed it and sent it, they were not able to deliver these boots to her house. So then what happened was those boots got sent back to the return address, but I had never changed the return address from my old house to my new house. And so they got returned to my old house. I don't know. I felt very uncomfortable just like going to my old house and knocking on the door and being like, are my boots here? Even though my old house is literally 5 minutes away, I just felt really uncomfortable doing that. I did reach out to my realtor to see if he could reach out to their realtor, and that realtor never got back to them with like a number or anything like that. So I had reached out to Pirate Ship in the meantime, and they were so helpful. Like, Pirate Ship as a company is actually amazing. And I know that there are a lot of people who will actually do all of their eBay shipping through Pirate Ship. They'll do like all of their shipping for everything except for Poshmark through Pirate Ship, because not only are they super user-friendly, but they have the best customer service. So I had reached out to them and they were like, okay, this is what you need to do in order for us to possibly send you money for the item that got lost, you know, because of like shipping insurance and all that kind of stuff. And I was trying to get my ducks in a row, plus I was on a conference, plus I was sick at some point, and they kept emailing me being like, hey, we haven't heard from you, like what's going on with this, like just going above and beyond. So they're amazing. And basically at this moment, I don't know what's gonna go on. Like, I sent Depop all the information that they were asking for finally. They were like, okay, we still need this one more thing from you. And then I don't know if I'm gonna get my money back for those boots or not. If I don't, it's like, again, it was my fault. And I did already refund the buyer because that's the right thing to do. So, you know, I could either get some money from Pirate Ship, I could just be out that money. Lesson learned, I'm a dum-dum, and I am officially just super scared of Bear Traps as a brand. So we're gonna just chalk that up as a fail. I do think I included Depop's numbers in my total sales for the week, but I'll just try to like do the math in my head when we get there. It will not be correct, it'll be close. And then I had a sale on Kidizen. It was this pair of Sorel Flurry black and red winter weather snow boots in a size youth 11. They sold for $40, and again on Kidizen as well, I just do free shipping and I build the cost of shipping into the price of the item, because back in the day someone told me that that's how you should sell on Kidizen. I had $10 into these from a garage sale from last summer, and so my net profit on those after shipping and my cost of goods was $16.82. We're kind of getting to the point where, like, I mean, I think boots will still sell, and you know, people ski and stuff all the way through March, but I do think boots and stuff will start to slow down. Typically in February is when I start listing like shorts and, spring weather clothing, because people are thinking about spring break. Even though it's still cold outside, people are looking ahead and anticipating what voids they need to fill in their wardrobe. So right now I'm trying to get through like the last of my sweaters and all those kinds of things, but pretty soon I'm gonna really start heavily focusing on my spring stuff. And then I had 2 eBay sales. One was this pair of Silver Threads velour pull-on elastic waist pants. They were in a navy color and in a size medium. These I just got for free from my mother-in-law, and to be honest with you, I should have just donated them or even tried consigning them at like a pop-up consignment sale that I participate in, but I did list them, I don't know, a couple years ago, at least a year ago at this point. They did finally sell through offers to watchers for $7.90. That was promoted at 3%. My net profit on that, because I did charge a little too much for shipping, I did end up profiting $8.35, which, for having gotten those for free, I guess that's not bad, but also like, did I have to list those and sit on them forever and ever? No. The next thing to sell is kind of similar. It was this $39.61 at Velvet Blue tie-dye long sleeve shirt in a size small. This sold for $11.90. Again, that was an offer that I sent out to watchers. And this was something that I got from a coworker of mine because we're doing a consignment deal. Because the net profit on that was under $25, she got 40% of the cut and I got 60%. So she made $3.86 off of that sale and I made $5.80. I don't know that any of us came out a winner on that sale. Again, I don't know that that was worth my time. But now she can get herself like, I don't know, medium McDonald's fries, and I can get myself a large McDonald's French fries. But yeah, that Tuesday, I had a ton of sales and I sold things across 4 different platforms. And that's because of a software called List Perfectly that I use to cross-list to multiple platforms. Now I have decided for the year 2024 to cross-list to less platforms, but that doesn't mean I'm like gonna shut down Kidizen or some of the other platforms that I'm no longer actively listing to. It just means that I'm not putting new listings on there. And so, there might be old listings on Kidizen that end up selling for whatever reason. Yay, that's a bonus sale, but I'm really kind of focusing my attention and energy on Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari, and then an occasional Depop. And then if something screams Depop, I'll go ahead and list it on Depop. But List Perfectly does make it really easy for me to get my listings on those different platforms. And if that's a goal of yours in 2024 to get on more platforms, then definitely check out List Perfectly. It's a great tool that I legitimately use every single day because I do try to list every day and cross list, but also because I use it to keep track of my sales analytics. That's where I manage my inventory. It is a godsend. So if you want to try it out, I do have a coupon code down below in the description that you can use to save 30% off of your first month of List Perfectly. On Wednesday, which was December 27th, on Poshmark, I sold this pair of cut from the cloth, dark wash, blue, back flat pocket bootcut jeans in a size 6. This is another piece that I got from that reseller who just had too much inventory on her hands. So I had $3.92 into these. They sold for $18 with discounted shipping, and that's because of a Chrome extension that I use called Posher VA to send out offers to likers for me 5 minutes after someone likes an item. So my net profit on that after discounted shipping, after my cost of goods, after Poshmark's fees was only $8.46. Cut from the cloth, I don't know, some people have really good luck with this brand. I never do. And maybe that's because I'm never finding like the most recent trendiest pieces, but in general, I don't know anyone that's super excited about this brand. It's not a brand that I pick up. But these showed up at my house as part of that reseller, half pallet that I purchased. So I was obviously much more inclined to list them since they were already there, but I would not go out of my way to purchase cut from the cloth jeans. Just my opinion. Let me know if you love cut from the cloth or if you're able to sell it for more than I am. Teach me your ways. The next thing to sell was a much better jeans sale. It was this pair of Buck Mason Maverick Slim blue button fly jeans in a size 31 by 34. I had picked these up at a local consignment store during their birthday sale in July of 2023. So they weren't listed for too long. They felt like they were listed for a while because they kept getting a lot of attention and a lot of lowball offers, but they did finally sell, a few months later in December for $63. Again, that was with discounted shipping because of Posher VA. I had $4.55 into them. That was my average cost of goods for that particular day of sourcing. And so my net profit on those was $43.83. Buck Mason is a great menswear brand to be on the lookout for. If you find it, especially in their jeans, and especially if it's like selvage jeans, holy moly, you can make some really good money on that brand. On eBay, I sold this Nike Sportswear Windrunner hooded windbreaker jacket in a men's size large. This had like a color block pattern to it. This was very similar to that first Nike jacket that we talked about that had sold on Mercari, but in searching comps, it looked like these were maybe a bit more desirable. And so I listed this higher for $49.99, and it sold for my full asking price. It was promoted at 3%. That was another item that Becky had sent me for free, and so my net profit on that jacket was $42.29. Again, like just so friggin' thankful. The next thing to sell on eBay was another reject from a Whatnot show. I showed it from a Whatnot show as part of like my reseller buyout unboxing. No one bid on it, even with the starting bid of $3, but I was able to sell it for $27 on eBay. It was this Old Navy green camo print puffer full zip jacket in a 2XL tall, and it was a women's jacket. That jacket probably belonged to the same person who owned that Gap jacket that I talked about earlier in that Poshmark bundle. And I don't know how this woman sources. I don't know if she got these at the thrift store. I don't know if these were hers. I don't know if she got these from a friend. But if they were from a thrift store, I'm imagining that both of these jackets were right next to each other and donated by the same person. But yeah, that sold for $27. I had $3.50 into it. That's how much I'm saying I had into each item from that reseller buyout. I actually think it was a little bit less, but I ended up making a net profit of $21. So when things don't sell that I show on Whatnot, I don't mind, because that just means I can go ahead and either try it in a future show, or I can go ahead and list it and I'll probably make more money. 2XL tall, that's a pretty specific size, and that's not ideal for a Whatnot show where you're only catering to whoever is in that show with you, and it's not like I have 1,000 people in my show ever. But a specific size is a great thing to have online, because a lot of people who need specific sizing, like tall lengths or petite lengths or just bigger sizes in general that are maybe harder to find in the store, or even, if you go to the Old Navy or Gap site, they have to look at secondhand reselling platforms like eBay, like Poshmark, and that's why I think that sold pretty quickly for a decent amount. That's even more than I sold that first Nike jacket for. So while I normally don't list and sell Old Navy online, that I knew I had to get listed because it was a bigger size and it was a specific size. It was that tall length. The next thing to sell on eBay was the 7 for All Mankind Austin Relaxed Fit pair of jeans in a size 34. They were in a dark wash, and those sold for $37.90. I had $4 into those from a Plato's Closet. I got them in September of 2023. They were promoted at 3%, and so my net profit was $27.86. 7 for All Mankind, I can always generally count on them to sell if they're like a somewhat classic or newer style in that $35 range, especially for men. I do feel like I have a harder time moving 7 for All Mankind in women's styles, but men's styles tend to do pretty well for me. On the 28th of December, which was a Thursday, I guess no one had any more of their Christmas money to spend because I sold 0 things. On Friday, which was December 29th, I had another Poshmark sale. It was this Brooks Brothers beige lightweight Advantage chino pair of shorts in a size 32. I did put the word preppy in the listing title. By the way, I feel like I don't even know what this generation is. Like, what is the generation of like today's teens and like young 20s? Like, I don't know. I don't know the generation names. Like when you're talking about like boomers, Gen X. I don't know what I am. I don't know what they are right now. But this generation, they throw around the term preppy, and it does not fit what I remember preppy meaning. So when I think of the word preppy, I think of golf. I think of like Lauren Ralph Lauren, or I think of like Vineyard Vines. I don't know, like collars, very classic, very just, yeah, that's what I think. I don't even understand what they mean by the term preppy when they throw that around. But regardless, I used the word preppy in the listing title. This sold for $18 with discounted ship. I had no money into it, so my net profit was $12.38. Why did I have no money into that? I got it from someone. Was it from my husband? I don't know. On Saturday, which was December 30th, again, people were like,
"We got no money to spend, and we're certainly not giving any money to you."
So I made $0 that day. And then I had one final sale on New Year's Eve, the last day of 2023. This was a Sunday. On eBay, I sold this AG, Adriano Goldschmied. What is this word? Alilea, I think that was the style name, not even sure. Dark wash denim wrap skirt in a size small. I sold that for $30 on eBay. I got that for free from my sister-in-law's cousin, who just kind of gave bags of clothes to my sister-in-law and told her like she could do whatever she wanted with it. Knowing that she had dabbled in reselling in the past, she doesn't really do it anymore, so she let me split the goods with my friend Jiwon, who also resells. This was one of the things that I got, and so I made a net profit of $24.50. So what we're gonna do now is we are gonna talk about my numbers for the week, but also for the year, because this was the last week of 2023. So here we go. And by the way, if you've been enjoying the video thus far, I would super appreciate it if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button. Believe it or not, it actually helps me out in the YouTube algorithm and lets YouTube know that this is the type of video that they should be advertising to other people. And if you're brand new to my channel and enjoy these kinds of what sold videos, definitely hit that subscribe button, because it is a mainstay on my channel. I try to do them at least once a week, so definitely make sure to join the family and hit that subscribe button. But let's jump into the numbers for the week first. So on Poshmark, I sold 10 items, which is 10 times more than the amount that I sold last week, because last week I sold one item. That was for a gross sales amount of $270. Once you factor in Poshmark's 20% fees and any discounted shipping that I offered, that total drops to $206.96. I had $34.64 into those 10 items, and so my net profit for the week on Poshmark was $206.96. On eBay, I sold 6 items, and that was for a gross sales amount of $164.69. Once you factor in eBay's fees, that total drops to $141.16. I had $11.36 into those 6 items, and so my net profit for the week was $129.80. So Poshmark did eke out the victory this week. It had been, I don't know, I feel like a good number of weeks in a row that eBay continued to beat out Poshmark when it came to the amount that I earned on either platform in net profit. But at the very end of the year, Poshmark was like, nah, let me get back in here. Let me show you what I got. So I definitely was very thankful for that. On Mercari, I sold one item for $22. When you factor in Mercari's fees, that total drops to $18.49. I got that one item for free from a beautiful soul named Becky, and so my net profit on Mercari was $18.49. I had that one depop sale, but we're not going to count it because I don't know if I'm going to get my money back from Pirate Ship, and even if I do, that doesn't count as a sale. On Kidizen, I sold one item for $40. When you factor in Kidizen's fees and the fact that I paid for shipping, that total drops to $29.31. I had $10 into those pair of boots, and so my net profit on Kidizen was $16.82. So in total, I sold 18 items. That's me not including the Depop sale. And that was for a gross sales amount of about, let's see, $496.69. I'm gonna try to like deduct the Depop sale in my head for everything. When you factor in shipping and fees, that total drops to about $392.74, give or take some pennies. We're gonna say I had about $55 into all those items. Man, mathing in my head is very hard, especially because I'm not very good at math. And so my net profit for the week was about $338-ish, I'm gonna say. So for the month of December, I made a net profit of $1,724, we're gonna say, because again, we're trying to do math in our heads. And so for the year, I made a net profit of $19,222.20, roughly, because of Depop and because of other discrepancies like returns that happened after the What Sold video, things like that. $19,000, that is nothing to sneeze at. It's nowhere near the goal that I had set for myself. I think I set a crazy goal of like $40,000 for the year or something. It's not even close to my goal, but it's still a very good amount of money to be making in like the spare pockets of time that I have as a high school choir teacher, which takes up a lot of my time, and also the time that I spend with my family, that I spend at church. It's a good amount of money, and I'm very, very proud of it. And honestly, if you made even $100 extra in the year 2023 from reselling, you should be so proud of yourself because that's $100 that you didn't have at the beginning of 2023. And the hope, right, for all of us is that the more we do this and the more we learn about reselling and about running our own businesses, the hope is that that number will only continue to go up, that we will continue to grow as business owners, that we will continue to grow as entrepreneurs, and that as a result, our numbers will go up as well. So, you know, whatever amount you ended up making in the year 2023, please make sure that you celebrate it. Even if it's not as much as you had hoped to make, as you had set out to make, that's okay because you put more money in your bank account than what you had at the beginning of the year. And hopefully that money's going towards improving your own life, improving the life of your family. That's amazing. Please make sure to be proud of yourself today, just like I'm proud of myself. I'm very proud of that amount that I was able to put towards my family's well-being in the year 2023. So here's to an even better 2024. And by better, I don't mean more profitable. I just mean better, whatever that means for you. Whether that means better health, better relationships, and maybe it means more money, I don't know, better profits, but a better 2024. I believe in you, I believe in myself. Let's do it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!